Hi, my name is Jitu Jason, and you're watching Impact India. There are a lot of paradoxical truths in life. Like if you chase peace of mind, you become restless. But if you give up the pursuit and just sit, you will have it. The same goes for women. The more you chase women, the more needy you get, the less attractive you become. But if you stop chasing women, you're either gay or you're a player. Okay. The same goes for money. The more you chase money, the more myopic your vision gets, the narrower your ideas and vision gets. You start thinking within the box. You filter every thought and idea through the CFO in your head. You ask yourself, is this going to make me money? If not, then you chuck it out, even if it's a good idea. Okay. So when they say don't chase money, chase or be a problem solver, what the fuck does that mean exactly? It means that instead of chasing money, think from the perspective of a benevolent dictator or a benevolent politician. This frame of reference, this frame of mind helps a lot in reframing your mentality because otherwise you'll be chasing money. So what does this mean exactly? If you're chasing money, you would start thinking about, okay, can this gym make me money? Can this hospital make me money? Can this school make me money? That's how you think. But if you're thinking from the perspective of a benevolent dictator or a politician, you would think, what does this area need? Does it need a hospital, a restaurant, a school, or what? Okay. Politicians and dictators do not worry about making money. They worry about allocating capital. Okay. So the perspective is shifted. Instead of thinking about making money, you're thinking about spending money. So let me give you an example. My uncle is a graphic designer, and he always has this, small business idea in his head, in the back of his head. So one of his ideas, he has cholesterol. So that is the problem that he's trying to solve. So his solution, was he would start a restaurant that fries things in oil and then throws it out in front of customers to show that he's using fresh oil always. He's not reusing the oil. That is the idea that he had. Now, on the face of it, this sounds a little too childish, and it is. So let's think about this problem from a different angle, from a different perspective, from the perspective of a benevolent dictator or a politician. If you have if you're born in India, if you're born and brought up in India, you kind of know that most people in India don't even know about this problem. The awareness is the issue. That is the problem, not the lack of availability of healthy food choices. It was never about, because if the awareness is there, the supply would come up, the options would the healthy food options would come up. So the problem was never the lack of availability of healthy food options. The problem was always the awareness. People don't know, people don't care. So as a benevolent dictator, what I would do is, I would try to get the leads or the contacts of people who have cholesterol. So I would probably contact a hospital or a clinic to get that data out. If I don't get that data, what I'll and I'll cold call them. If I don't get that data, I'll make vlogs or videos informing people about heart health, try to raise the awareness of people, which immediately doesn't make any money. Okay. So if you had this idea in your myopic state, you would ignore this idea. But since you're thinking like a benevolent dictator, you don't care about making money now. You care about the solving the problem, which is awareness. Once you raise the awareness, you would connect with people who actually have cholesterol and have these issues and are more receptive to ideas and solutions to improve and enhance their life, such as you can tell them about an oil dispenser that reduces oil consumption from down to 50 to 90%. So there's this oil dispenser that costs like 200 rupees. You can spray oil instead of pouring oil. So and this is true, excuse me, before I was using this product, I was pouring oil, and you would see a puddle of oil at the bottom of the pan when you saute things. Now all I see is a thin glazing on onions and things that I saute. So oil consumption has reduced by 50 to 90%. So in the first month itself, if let's say for example you're buying 2 packets of oil, that's like 400 rupees. This dispenser costs like 200 rupees, 250 rupees, or something like that. In the first month itself, you recover the cost of the dispenser. The product practically sells itself to people who are conscious about, or aware about, or receptive about heart health and cholesterol and things like that. And from the next month onwards, you're saving 200 rupees each month after that. So basically this is like an investment that actually saves money. Who wouldn't want to use this? And there's no difference in taste. You're still using oil. You're not substituting anything for anything. You're just using less oil, which you weren't going to eat anyway, because that's what we throw out. So once you sell this product, Then you have a lead list of people who have bought this dispenser. Guess what you can upsell them? An air fryer, because that's what the product is made for. And people who are conscious about heart health, they're more likely to buy. People who have the budget obviously would buy the air fryer. So you pivoted away from throwing oil in front of customers to selling dispensers and air fry. You see how your brain shifted away from a crazy solution to a sound, a better solution. Your ideas are just better if you think like a benevolent dictator, because you're not thinking about making money. You're thinking about, okay, what does my constituents need and how do I solve that problem? Let me give you another example. This is not, I haven't done this yet. I'm running this YouTube channel. So what is the problem that I see in my constituents? People don't have job. India has a per capita GDP of like $2,000, $3,000 per year per person, and that is one of the problems. A, we don't have jobs. B, you don't have high paying jobs. So one of the ways in which I can solve through my YouTube channel is, the people who are watching this, some of you will have probably jobs, in some companies, and some of you are looking for jobs. So what I can do is, I can bring both of you people together into a Telegram group or something, and then you can hash it out. You can find each other and employ, refer each other. So the benefit here is that companies spend an awful lot of money on hiring. They pay a lot of money on classifieds. They pay 30% commission to placement agencies to get employees. So 70% of all jobs on planet Earth are acquired through referral. The remaining 30 to 20% actually hit the job portals and classifieds and this and that. So most jobs where the competition is the lowest, you never see these jobs. They're already fulfilled. They never hit the job market. And the remaining 20 to 30% of jobs that do hit the market, the competition is the maximum there. Millions of people apply to these jobs. So I know this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give a call to action, or shout out that, hey, if you're looking for a job and if you want to give a job for a referral bonus. So if you are an employee working in some company, they do give out referral bonuses like 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees. So the company saves money because they are getting clients through, employees through referral. You, the employee that is referring people from the Telegram group, you're getting a referral bonus from your company, and the person who's looking for a job gets a job. All three people are happy. Now, if you ask, how am I going to make money with this? Well, initially you won't, okay? And I don't plan on making money from this anyway. But if you want, you can buy me a fucking coffee. How about that? I just got you a job and a referral bonus, and I help the company. Three people are happy. How about you give me some dough? So this is an example of thinking about solving problems as opposed to chasing money. When you think like a benevolent dictator and consider people as your constituents, you get clearer ideas. You don't think about making money initially. That is where all the good ideas actually are. Okay. So that's my opinion. That is just what I think. What else? The second problem India has is low per capita GDP. How do you increase that? Well, one of the ways in which you can increase per capita GDP in this country for people for real is through stock options and phantom stock units. In US, pretty much all companies, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, SpaceX, even Amazon, which is not a tech company, which is an e-commerce company, even at Amazon, 70% of people get stock options, even the people who put who package your stuff. In India, that's not the case. Most companies do not offer stock options. So that is one of the reasons why India has a poor per capita GDP. It's because you rarely get stock options or phantom stock units. So my solution would be to tell people to negotiate for phantom stock units. Yes, that's a thing. You can take a pay cut and take the rest of the payment as phantom stock units where you get a share of the profit. So in this way, even though your base salary is low, whenever a company makes a profit, you get a share of that. Okay, I've already said this in my previous videos, how to play capitalism, how to participate in capitalism. If you don't have if you don't have skin in the game, you are not an active member. You're a pawn. You're played by the people who participate in capitalism. You're not actually actively participating in it. In order to participate, you have to have skin in the game. Either start your own business or be part of someone else's business. This is the solution. Now, people think that you can't get stock options, you can't get phantom stock units. The shit you can, okay? If you negotiate for it hard, you will get it. Most people think that it's not something most people do, and I don't think I can. Yes, most people don't do this, but this is possible to do. All you have to do is Instead of your salary, exchange it for phantom stock units. And if the company is too stubborn and doesn't give you that, leave it and join some other company. Yes, I admit that most companies wouldn't do it, but some do. Join those companies, you would make a lot more money that way. And that is how you solve the problem of low per capita GDP. You can immediately increase your income simply by opting for stock options or phantom stock units. Now, how do I make money with this? Well, if this idea benefits you, how about you buy me a fucking coffee? Okay. So yes, when you think from the perspective of a benevolent dictator, uh, things become clear. You have clarity of understanding. Shah Rukh Khan in one of his interviews said his mother. I don't know whether this is true or not. He's a professional liar. He's an actor, so he said that his mother once told him, uh, "कुछ लेने की हैसियत मत रखो, कुछ देने की हैसियत रखो." What the fuck does that mean? It means to think like a benevolent dictator, not like a person who's chasing money. Maybe that's why he calls himself, Badshah or King Khan or whatever. I don't know. I'm speculating. So I think he literally thinks like that. He thinks like a giver as opposed to a taker. He thinks like a dictator, sort of. Maybe. I don't know. I'm speculating. So if you think like a benevolent dictator, you don't have that myopic vision anymore. You can think freely once again. When you become an adult from your teenage years, you start thinking more and more about money. All your wide ideas go out of the window. You filter all your ideas through the CFO in your brain. Stop doing that. Think from this angle. Think from the perspective of a benevolent dictator, and your brain just opens up once again. Okay. Now, if you want more clarification on this, join my Telegram group and ask me questions, or ask me questions in the comment section. I'd love to answer them. This is just what I think, what my perspective is on life and business and everything. So if you have any questions, ask me. I will be happy to engage with you, and I will see you in the next one. That is it for today. Bye.